It is my firm belief that the one singular incident we will be judged forever on will be our use of force. And so while it is absolutely imperative that our officers go home at the end of their shift, we want to make sure and ensure that our community members go home too. And so sanctity of life is absolutely vital, that is the pillar for our use of force.
That's the Minneapolis police chief who testified today that Derek Chauvin absolutely violated department use of force policies. Chief Medaria Arredondo told jurors nothing jumped out at him when he first viewed the incident from a city camera across the street, an image very much like the one that is on your screen. He didn't see the video that everybody else saw, this image. So thanks to one of my next guests, though, he later did see the bystander video of the violent incident up close.
A community member had contacted me and said, Chief, almost verbatim, but said, Chief, have you seen the video of your officer choking and killing that man at 38th and Chicago? And so once I heard that statement, I just knew it wasn't the same milestone camera video that I had saw.
For more, we welcome to the broadcast former Assistant U.S. Attorney Jami Hodge, a veteran of the DOJ's Office of Legal Policy. She also advised the office of then Vice President Joe Biden on criminal justice and drug policy during the Obama administration. And civil rights attorney Nekima Levy Armstrong. She is a former president of the Minneapolis chapter of the NAACP and a scholar on racial justice. We believe she was also the community member who alerted the police chief of the bystander video, to which the chief just responded. Nekima, you spoke to the chief. You communicated this to him. He hadn't actually seen that imagery that the rest of the world at that point was starting to see. Tell me a bit about that exchange.
Yeah, so on the evening of Memorial Day, I got a Facebook tag from a woman who had lost her husband to police violence, letting me know that police had killed someone. So I reached out to the chief and I asked him if Minneapolis police had killed someone that evening. And he said, to his knowledge, someone had died as a result of a medical emergency when they were being taken into custody. That was the extent of what he knew. And so I went back to social media. I commented, heard the chief's comments, and then I said, we need to see some video of what happened. And the next thing you know, that same woman tagged me in the bystander video that has now been seen around the world. And so I then called the chief and told him that he needed to see that video immediately.
Jami, what do you make of the police chief's testimony? It's just unusual in a case like this. The police chief has come out and basically said that everything that the prosecutors said in their opening statement a week ago is not really true. He was not trained nor authorized to do what he did to George Floyd.
No, it's a very big deal to have officers testifying against their own and hear a supervisor testifying against one of his own. And I think what it speaks to is the horror of what people witnessed in this bystander video. It broke down that blue wall of silence that conscience requires, taking a stand and speaking out and telling the truth. And so it's a big deal that there are so many officers who are taking a stand and just being very clear, no, this is not consistent with our training. This is not what we are charged to do and what the community expects of us.
And Nekima, you have seen a number of police officers, including training officers and the senior most member, the longest standing member of the Minneapolis police force, and this police chief who was thought to be a good police chief to start with. One of the problems with the Minneapolis police has been its union leadership and how they have prevented sort of change and progress from going on. That problem still continues after this. So regardless of what happens to Derek Chauvin, do things really change in Minneapolis, a place that has been fraught with bad policing for a while?
Well, one of the things that changed recently as a result of community pressure was the former president of the Police Federation, Bob Kroll, who was a Trump supporter, who helped foment a lot of hate and negativity, who called Black Lives Matter a terrorist group, and who defended killer cops. He actually was forced to retire in January. And that was after, again, intense community pressure. We even went to his home and protested outside of his home in a suburb about 20 minutes from Minneapolis. And so that's a huge shift. Beyond that, I think that the chief is setting the tone for the rest of the department, as well as chiefs across the nation, to use their voices, to speak up, to challenge the status quo, and to say what will and will not be tolerated within the Minneapolis Police Department. This is unprecedented, and it needs to happen time and time again with police chiefs across the country.
Jami, I want to underscore that this is still the prosecution's case. This has not gone to the defense yet. The defense did lay out elements of its case, and a lot of it does depend on the idea that Derek Chauvin was trained to do and was authorized to use the force that he used. Today we heard from Inspector Katie Blackwell, who's a police training commander, has known Derek Chauvin for 20 years. Let's listen to what she said.
Use of force, according to policy, has to be, consistent with MPD training. Per policy, a neck restraint is compressing one or both sides of the neck using an arm or leg. But what we train is using one arm or two arm to do a neck restraint.
And how does this differ?
I don't know what kind of improvised position that is. So that's not what we train.
It's remarkable what you said. I don't know what kind of improvised position that is, so it's not what we train. That is directly contrary to what the prosecution said the jury is going to hear and understand. What do they do about that? They've now got the chief and the training inspector contradicting their case.
And Alex, you're referencing the defense opening statement, right? That it was the defense saying,
I'm sorry,
that this
you're
is
right.
what
Yes,
Derek Chauvin, yes, that Derek Chauvin was trained to do this. So this, puts a huge hole in the defense case. We have to remember, though, and the standard isn't that the defense has a burden. The burden really does just lie with the prosecution. So technically, the defense, they don't have to put forward a case. The burden completely lies on the prosecution. But when you choose to put forward a case, as they did, this testimony is very devastating. It's clear, again, coming from your own, that this is not consistent with the training. And I think bottom line, what this shows us is that training is not going to solve these issues, that in order to truly get justice and to make sure that we don't continue to have the killing of unarmed Black people by law enforcement, we're not going to train our way out of this problem. It's going to require deep systemic change.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.